The thing you discover, like you do with alcohol, is that there isn't enough alcohol in all liquor stores in the world to fill up that thing. And in Jennifer's case, I don't think there's enough followers or movies or records or any of that stuff to still that part of you that still feels a longing and a pain. Ultimately, that's the work that you've got to do on your own.
J. Lulu's team has officially hired bots to dispel her being a menace to waiters, all of that. Well, I work at the restaurant where I had dinner today. She was very regal. I had the honor of presenting her salad. This is some name. Another name. Well, I work at the restaurant where I had dinner today. She was very regal. I had the honor of preparing her salad. Girl, what?
Jennifer Lopez is a whole train wreck right now. She recently spent more than $20 million on a documentary to promote her new album and basically push the idea of her and Ben Affleck being the new it couple again. But that flopped, her album flopped, and basically everything she's been doing has been flop on flop on flop. Now her PR team is pushing the narrative that she and Ben are engaged. How many rings has this woman got now? But there's a rumor going around that instead of Bennifer going strong, Ben is completely fed up with Jennifer's mess. So what's going on with Jennifer Lopez and Ben Affleck behind closed doors? Stick around and find out. In case you missed it, because basically everyone did, Jennifer Lopez put out a documentary in February called The Greatest Love Story Never Told, all about her and Ben Affleck getting back together. Despite no one wanting to touch this documentary and everyone telling her not to do it, she spent $20 million of her own money to push this narrative to the world. She actually called around and tried to get several celebrities to appear on the documentary, and the majority of them turned her down. Jane Fonda, who's been friends with J-Lo since they did Monster-in-Law together back in 2005, said this about her doubts about the documentary. I believe that everyone in the entire world is pulling for this relationship and this love. And the idea of how you present that is so sacrosanct, so important. It should be handled in a way that you aren't overly flaunting it, so much so that it creates any form of criticism or resentment. But then Fonda also said this, and I agree. I want you to know that I don't entirely know why, but I feel invested in you and Ben, and I really want this to work. However, this is my concern. Like, it feels too much like you're trying to prove something instead of just living it. You know, every other photograph is the two of you kissing and the two of you hugging. I think that's what Jennifer Lopez is up to. I think the engagement story is designed to get a little bit of recognition to her name and make her trend for a bit because her album and tour are bombing so hard.
Changed the name of her North American tour from This Is Me Now to This Is Me Live, The Greatest Hits. Now, she initially announced the tour in February along with her latest album and its accompanying 2 films. The album itself has been struggling, only selling 14,000 copies in its first week and debuting at number 38 on the Billboard 200. It's likely due to its failing performance and poor ticket sales that she was forced to quietly cancel 7 of her show dates last month. The latest change to the tour's name suggests that instead of her new album, the tour will focus on her entire discography, hoping to entice fans that may have not connected with her recent material.
Let's not forget that some of the tickets for that tour cost more than Beyoncé tickets, proving that what they say is true. Nobody loves Jennifer Lopez more than Jennifer Lopez. But now, to draw more attention to herself, she's building up her engagement to Ben. Ben gave her what she's calling an exceptionally rare 8.5 carat green diamond with white diamonds on both sides of it, which Bloomberg estimates to cost somewhere between $5 to $7 million. And she went on a whole spiel about the ring and the engagement on her newsletter to people and to anyone who will pay attention to her. Oh, by the way, J-Lo has a newsletter. Who's reading that? I honestly don't know. I guess I had to, but not by choice. Anyway, she said, "I always say the color green is my lucky color. Maybe you can remember a certain green dress. I've realized there are many moments in my life where amazing things happened when I was wearing green." She said this in her newsletter. Did you ever imagine your biggest dream could come true? Saturday night, while at my favorite place on earth, in the bubble bath, my beautiful love got on one knee and proposed. I was taken totally off guard and just looked in his eyes, smiling and crying at the same time, trying hard to get my head around the fact that after 20 years, this was happening all over again. I was quite literally speechless, and he said, "Is that a yes?" And I said, "Yes, of course that's a yes." I was smiling so big and tears were coming down my face, feeling so incredibly happy and whole. It was nothing fancy at all, but it was the most romantic thing I could have ever imagined. Just a quiet Saturday night at home, two people promising to always be there for each other. Two very lucky people who got a second chance at true love. Not this woman having Ben frickin' Affleck to propose to her twice and calling him lucky. But she's always had that arrogant side. If you don't know, Jennifer Lopez got her start being a fly girl, one of the talented dancers on In Living Color. Her choreographer, Rosie Perez, said that Jennifer had a nasty attitude behind the scenes. She said that Jennifer yelled at her and then excused it by saying she was from the Bronx and that since she was better than her coworkers, she could act that way. Keep in mind, Rosie actually gave her this opportunity and had way more experience than Jennifer. But still to this day, Jennifer makes little passive-aggressive jabs at Rosie when she talks about her.
Beginning, they definitely want to put you in a box. Like, okay, here's the Latin girl. She can do these type of roles. Everything was for like a Rosie Perez type, you know, and that wasn't me. Very different than that. I was a Latin girl, but I wasn't that type of Latin girl.
She's got no problems with talking trash about other celebrities either. JLo's breakout role was playing Selena Quintanilla in 1998. And people compared her to Salma Hayek, who was also offered the role a few times, which, you know, would be a pretty big compliment for most people. But here's what she said about Salma. She's a sexy bombshell and those are the types of roles she does. I do all kinds of different things. She makes me laugh when she says that she was offered the role in Selena, which was a blatant lie. She was also asked about her thoughts on Gwyneth Paltrow that year, and she popped off with this. Tell me what she's been in. I swear to God, I don't remember anything she's been in. I've heard more about her and Brad Pitt than about her work.
Who do you think should portray you in a movie about the story of your life?
She hasn't been born yet.
In 2020, JLo hit the stage with Shakira for one of the most memorable Super Bowl halftime shows in recent years. But she said she didn't like performing with Shakira and would have preferred to have the stage to herself.
Worst idea in the world to have two people do the Super Bowl. It was the worst idea in the world.
Celebrities aren't the only ones who can get it from JLo. Her friend and makeup artist Scott Barnes was pretty much fired from her overnight. She'd heard rumors that he had leaked details about the fact that she was secretly married to Mark Anthony. Scott later revealed that JLo didn't speak to him for a whole year and then called him and asked him to come back to work with her out of the blue like nothing had happened because the rumors got cleared up. He says he's still salty about it and hasn't received any sort of apology or even an explanation from her. She hired a nanny in 2008 to help her with her twins and help around the house. The job was 7 days a week and 16 hours a day, which is nuts. It only took a few days for the nanny to quit because she was understandably overwhelmed with the work and the hours. Another nanny quit after a few days immediately after that, which is no surprise. Then her assistant, who has been working with Lopez for a long time, quit in 2013 and cited mistreatment as the reason. Ironically enough, he got hired by Mariah Carey, who's had a feud with JLo for years. In 2022, a girl who had worked in Las Vegas serving drinks to Ben Affleck went viral with her video recollecting her mistreatment. Lopez was obviously with Affleck, and he gave the waitress a $10,000 tip at the end of the night. JLo got mad and snatched that money right out of the waitress's hand. Ben was embarrassed and sent the girl some flowers the next day, along with $25,000. She was also married twice before she started dating Ben Affleck. She was married to Chris Judd for only a few months before she started hooking up with Ben. And imagine being so out of touch that you say that you care so little about your first two marriages that you don't count them. She's also on the record as saying that she's had a tendency in the past to date not so attractive men while playing up Ben's good looks. She also threw A-Rod to the side when Ben came back in her life in 2021. Just completely called that engagement off like it was nothing. But since they've been married, it came out that she made him sign a contract that says if he cheats on her, then he has to pay her. It also says he's obligated to intimately satisfy her at least 4 times a week. I mean, the levels of crazy there are outstanding. And word on the street is that Ben is getting tired of it all. He's tired of her being so full of herself, he's tired of her being so mean to everyone, and he's tired of the way she treats him too. And he's tired of her using him as a way to be relevant. Personally, I think it'd be the funniest thing in the world if he'd live stream hitting her with a batarang. But now I want to hear what you think about all of this. Drop a comment down below and we'll see you in the next video. Bye!